All right, so trying to prepare some workouts for you to do on your own at home with very minimal equipment. So all you're gonna need for this is a beach towel. Okay, so we're gonna do a full body workout. Your only piece of equipment is gonna be a beach towel, and then we'll use kind of other household items to address some of the other areas. But it may be a little bit less volume, maybe a shorter workout than what you might do if you were here at Discover Strength, where you're doing 10, 11, 12 exercises, but it's still gonna address the full body. Okay, so there's gonna be chest, shoulder, back, and then also multi-joint leg exercises and a little bit of torso. Okay, so we've addressed everything when it comes to this, and there will be points in here where I'm gonna ask you to stop and perform the exercise and then continue to go from there. So first one is we're gonna go in that order. So starting off with the upper body, we're gonna start off with a chest exercise. So Hannah's gonna get into a push-up position here. Push-up is probably the best exercise that we have when it comes to addressing the chest. So you wanna make sure you have a straight line between shoulder, hip, and knee, and you're lowering down for 4 seconds, nearly touching your chest to the ground and pushing right back up. Now, if you can't do a normal push-up, you'll drop down to your knees. So you can drop to your knees here, Hannah, and do the same thing. So lower for 4 seconds. Tapping the chest to the ground and easing it up. Now you want to do this, same idea, the hips staying up until the point of failure so that you're getting chest and tricep involvement, okay? Now, another great way to do this one is just doing negative onlys. So you can do as many push-ups as you can and going right into a negative only where you're lowering for 10 seconds. You might do this 6, 7, 8 times until the point you can't push back up, okay? So go to the point you can't push up anymore and then do this a few times. Okay, so that's chest. Probably the best chest exercise that you can do without any equipment. Now we're gonna do an upper back exercise. Okay, so Hannah, you can face me with your feet straight out ahead of you. A little bit diagonal here. Okay, so this is a towel row, and you'll do it as what we call a time static contraction. So you're gonna wrap this around your feet, and then you're gonna grab onto the towel here, get a nice firm grip on this, Hannah. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay very tall with your upper body, and you're gonna drive your elbows back as hard as you possibly can. Okay, ripping into it, trying to squeeze your upper back as you go here. Pull as hard as you possibly can, starting off with 50, then 75, then 100% effort. We're gonna do this for exactly 1 minute. Okay, so the first 15 seconds, you might go for about 50% effort. Then you start to kick it up to 75, then you kick it up to 100 for the last 30 seconds or so. And this is gonna work the upper back, the biceps, and a little bit of forearm. Now, we may have some exercises that you can do that you may be able to incorporate like a band with, and you could do a band seated row. Once again, we're going with minimal equipment for right now. Okay, so next one is for the shoulders. So Hannah, you can stand up here. We've already addressed the triceps with the push-up, which is great, so we don't have to do a multi-joint shoulder exercise. We're gonna do what's called a three-way plate raise. Okay, so Hannah's gonna be using plates here, but you can accomplish this with soup cans or literally half-filled gallons of milk or water. So a gallon of milk weighs about 8.5 pounds if it's completely full. Okay, so if you go about half that, that's what she would have in each arm here. She's got about 5 pounds. Okay, so you're just gonna come straight ahead, pause for 1 second when your arm's parallel to the ground, and then lower down for 4. And then transition and do a diagonal raise now, Hannah. Awesome. Once again, the key always being 2 seconds up, pause for 1 second, lower for 4. Now 2 straight to the side. So 1 more to the side, and then work your way back towards the front. And she's gonna do this for 3 rotations. So once she gets all the way back to doing another front raise, that's the end of rotation number 1. Okay, this is addressing all the muscles of the shoulders, anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid, etc. And is going to be an important one for the shoulders. Like I said, we already addressed the triceps with the push-ups, so that's the end of the upper body there. So very minimal, 3 upper body exercises there. Now we're going to transition to legs. So for legs, we're going to do a combination of exercises. So starting off with a partial range of motion lunge, so you can get into a lunge position here, Hannah. And with just your body weights, you want your front knee to stay right over your ankle. You're gonna stand up about halfway, get to my hand, and come down and tap the knee and right back up. Okay, so she's gonna do these for 10 to 15 repetitions per leg, depending on how difficult it is to do with body weight. If you're in really good shape, you might have to do a little bit higher volume. Now, once she does 15 each leg, I'm gonna transition her immediately into a partial range of motion squat. So now you're gonna stand, feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed outward, your arms straight out in front of you. So you're gonna squat down as low as you can, butt to your heels here, and now stand up till your legs are just past 90 and down for about 4 seconds. Okay, so if you did 15 reps on each leg with the partial range of motion lunge, and it was still pretty doable, you're gonna transition right into this. Some people might fail just on the partial range of motion lunge, which is great, okay? So you do this for another 10 or 15 repetitions, and then for either one of those, you can do a hold at the very end, okay? So if it's not tough enough for me, I can come up halfway and do a 10, 20, 30-second hold at the point of failure. Really important to make sure your shoulders are staying back so that all that weight is directly above the hips. So that's gonna be one that's addressing the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. Okay, so if you can superset some of those multi-joint exercises, you'll get a great leg workout with it. The final one is just a manual resistance ab exercise or a body weight ab exercise. So you can lay on your back here, Hannah. So what she'll do for this is she would tuck her toes under any ledge or like step that you have in your house that you can. So I'm just gonna use my hand for this, but she's gonna curl up here to bring her elbows up to her knees, lower down for 4 seconds, and as soon as the base of her shoulder blades hits, she's coming right back up. Good, and lowering back down. Okay, so same idea here. Completely eliminate momentum, 2 seconds up, 4 lower and down, and go into the point of muscle failure again. When she gets to the end, she might do some super slow negatives, 10, 20, 30 seconds as well. So that's for the abs. And for the back, you're gonna do a Superman hold. So now you're extending your arms out over your head here, Hannah, and you're trying to squeeze your low back and pulling your thighs and even your chest, if you can, off of the ground, and try to maintain this position for about 60 seconds. 60 to 90 seconds for this one, and that'll address the low back. One other thing that you can add to superset with the abs is immediately after abs, go right into an ab bridge. So Hannah's gonna do that right now. So right after she gets done with abs, she could hop into an ab bridge to finish off the abs for a 2-minute plank or ab bridge, as we call it here as well. Okay, so in between each one of those exercises, you should really stop and pause, go through a full set. Okay, you should do a minimum of 60 seconds of work on each one of these, probably upper end of 90 to 120 seconds for each one of them. But really the goal is a high level of intensity. You gotta get to the point of muscle failure. And a good way to do that is supersetting a couple of these exercises, okay? So reminder, we have push-ups, a row, a 3-way plate raise for the shoulders. Then we have abs and ab bridge, reverse basically plank, which is the Superman hold for the low back. And then for the legs, a superset of partial range of motion lunge and partial range of motion squats. You could mix in things like a wall sit to really finish everything off. Same idea though, 60 to 120 seconds of tension. All right, best of luck.